Howdy folks, we are out on another cold spring morning adventure. We're in Snoqualmie National Forest, just outside of the town of Greenwater on your way to Mount Rainier. They haven't opened up the road into Mount Rainier yet, so we're still hiking kind of the auxiliary trails. Today we are doing the Moss Lake loop and then headed up to Snoquera Falls. And I know I butchered that name, I'll try and put the correct spelling here. All in all, I want to say between the two different trails, it's maybe a 5 or 6 mile hike. Not a lot of miles, but so far, a beautiful trip. The first part of this hike starts at Camp Shepard, which is, I think it's a Boyscout camp. Again, just outside of Mount Rainier National Forest, and it's an interpretive loop. So that's the Moss Lake Trail, and I don't know why they call it Moss Lake because I don't think there is a lake here. I think it's just a marshy, mossy forest. But I'm using this as the warm-up before we head up to the waterfall. And warm-up is literally that. It's about 38 degrees right now. It's not going to get much above 40 today. So I've got a lot of layers on. Trying to get my cardio going. Get the body temperature warmed up before I head out onto the real part of the hike. All right, so we made it to the outdoor theater, which means we completed that first 0.6 mile loop of the Moss Lake Trail. And I can tell you, there is no lake. The whole area is just this beautiful marshland. But that means it is time to start the Snoqualmie Falls, Snoqualmie. I know I'm going to continue to butcher, and it's written right here. But we're going to do the Snoquera, or however you pronounce it, the Falls Loop Trail. It's 2.8 miles. So we've got about a mile and a half till we get up to the waterfall. And then from what I've been reading, there's a side trail that'll actually allow us to get down to the waterfall if it's clear enough this time of year. We're obviously well below the snow melt, but the water is flowing super fast right now because of all the melt off, which means the falls should be pretty amazing to look at. But as you can tell, already got myself out of breath from my warm-up, but now it's time to start the actual climb. Okay, so the trail's not marked. I came from this trail, which seems to continue on down this direction. But that's not the trail. There's actually a switchback right here also. A sign that says, trail not completed for horse or bike use, work continues. Well, that's actually the trail up to the waterfall. If I had continued much farther on the other trail, it eventually loops back down the 400 so feet that I've gained, works its way back around to the White River, and then eventually back to Camp Shepard. Looks like a pretty cool loop on the map, but not the one we want today. And as you can tell by how much I'm wheezing, I had to come back up trail a little farther than I like to admit to. But I guess that's why we use our maps. So this is one of those times that I wish I actually filmed on a better camera instead of just a cell phone. because I'm not doing it justice today, but there is this light fog through the forest here. Very light falling rain. Just absolutely beautiful. It's peaceful, just dead calm. You can hear a hint of the river in the background, the occasional bird and squirrel, but that's about it. Just absolutely breathtaking. And if I keep stopping and filming every 5 or 10 minutes along this trail just because it's so pretty, I don't know that I'm ever going to get there. I've got maybe another half a mile, 3/4 of a mile till we get up to the waterfall. And we'll find that side trail and try and get a little closer to it. But this is proving to be a beautiful morning. A rainy northwest spring morning, but beautiful nonetheless. Okay, we are getting close. It's coming up into a bit of a clearing here where the tree line opens up and you can start to see some of the mountains across the valley in the background. Yeah, if it wasn't so foggy. And I can hear pretty rapid flowing water up ahead. So I think maybe another 100 yards or two up around the next bend, we might get our first glimpse of the falls. Okay, so the weather has dropped significantly and it's raining. And I don't know if you can hear it or not, but we're at the base of the waterfall and it is rapidly flowing down through this wash area. I'm going to put the camera away for a little bit so I can pull out my second trekking pole and safely get up a little bit higher near the base of the falls and try and get some better shots. So I'll see you folks once I get up there somehow. Okay, you can't get any more amazing than this. Wow. Okay, that was amazing. I had every intention of having lunch up there today, but the spray off of that waterfall is bitter, bitter cold. It's glacier water, right? It's a snow melt pouring down a mountain cliff. I don't know why I would have expected anything else. But gonna continue the loop. It's amazing. I'm only a couple 100 yards away from the waterfall and it's already warmed up a good, 10, 15 degrees. So I'm gonna continue on, try and find a spot where I can get off the trail and get out of people's way as the afternoon hikers start showing up, and we'll put together a little bit of a lunch and just enjoy the rest of this afternoon. So I think I found where we're going to stop for lunch. At the base of what looks like an avalanche or a snow wash that happened, I don't know, maybe last year. It actually looks pretty fresh. Of course, I'm not a geologist and certainly not an expert, but it's a beautiful spot. It's nice and quiet. You can hear the river roaring below, and I can almost get a glimpse of the valley down there. But just beautiful. I think we'll have a nice quiet place here. Take a break, pull this pack off, and fix up some lunch. All right, well, this rock can be considered almost comfortable. No hot lunch for me today. Again, I thought that I was going to get a chance to eat up at the waterfall, but it was just way too cold and way too wet. But because that was the plan, I was going to just do a cold lunch, mix up some hummus, chop up some veggies and a little bit of pita bread, and just kick back and relax. And of course, in true fashion, I forgot my handy dandy pocket knife that I always carry with me. So I was going to be testing out a new knife that was sent to me. And that is sitting on the kitchen counter by the cutting board that I was also going to try out. But that's all right, because in my emergency kit, I always got a little Swiss Army knife. And should do the trick. There you go. Teeny tiny little Swiss Army knife. Actually belonged to my grandmother. So, Grandma Lorraine, thank you so much. You are the reason we're going to get to have lunch today. Okay, and then we've got a powdered hummus that we just need to add a little water to and try not to make too big of a mess in the process. Man, it is starting to cool down. Once you stop hiking, it's amazing how quickly your body temperature will drop. I want to keep my core warm so that I don't get a chill and not be able to warm up later on today. All right, well, and lunch is ready. Certainly not a gourmet meal, but I don't know, I'm not going to complain. Fresh veggies, hummus, Kalamata olives, roasted almonds. That's good. I'm not going to make you guys watch me eat. So I'm going to shut the camera off, kick back, eat up, warm up, and we'll get back on the trail. So, in my true fashion, I completely overate. And I had a little leftover hummus and another half a pita, so continuing to overeat. I'm not too ashamed to admit that I am very much a carb junkie. I should probably watch where I'm going, too. We've got, according to the map, I think I've got a little over a mile till we get back down to the parking lot where my truck's at. So I'm going to stop chatting with you folks. I'm going to enjoy the view, take a little bit more video so you can see the rest of the hike out. But this is probably our goodbye. So until next time, hope to see you guys out there on the trail soon. Let's go for a walk. Okay, so the parking lot's right around the corner. In case you're wondering, with the Moss Lake loop, the hike up to the waterfall, and then the waterfall loop back past Camp Shepard and back to the original parking lot, 5.1 miles, total elevation gain of 991 feet. So not an outrageous or impossible hike. It's a great way to spend a couple of hours out there in solitude. See you folks next time.